Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another universe series. And today we will be discussing about where gold really comes from and how the stars cooked up the Earth's metals other than gold, iron, like these kind of things, these kind of metals. And we will also see the story of violent stars and meteor crashes and how they bring these metals down onto Earth and which we are using right now. So let's begin. First of all, I will talk about the gold, the mystery of the ring. See, look at any gold earring, or you can see necklace or ring which you are wearing at the moment, or necklace. It's shiny and it's heavy also, and it's very valuable to people and to you, obviously. And we send people deep underground into mines to dig this stuff up. Okay, we all know this, but have you ever stopped to ask how did it get there? I mean, how did the gold get there in the first place? So that will be our first question. I don't mean how the like miners go there or mine there. I mean like how the actual gold atoms was made. Because the crazy thing is, Earth on its own cannot make the gold, and Earth is really good at making rocks, obviously trees, and we have clouds in sky, but it cannot make the basic elements like we have gold, silver, platinum, and in fact, our you can say whole solar system with all the planets and even our giant sun doesn't have the right equipment to make the gold from scratch. Yeah, you heard right. They cannot make the gold from scratch. So, next question will be, if Earth doesn't make it, the sun didn't make it, so where did it come from? The answer is going to be science fiction. You will say it is science fiction, and I'm just throwing words in the air, but I'm not. And the truth is, every piece of gold jewelry you have ever touched in your life was forged in the most violent explosions in our universe, supernova. Yep, that what is. And billions of years before Earth even existed, it is where these gold and gold atoms and all other metals are forged. Today, we will be going on a 13 billion year journey, and we are going to find out how the universe cooked up these heavy metals, and also we will see how they traveled across space, how they travel millions and billions of light years from one point to our Earth, and how they crash onto our planet so we could dig them up today, and we can get from the jewelry store and we are wearing it. So sit back. That is, it is a big story, and hear me out one by one. So let's now begin all the way back to the beginning when the Big Bang happens. So when first of all the universe was first started, it was very boring, and it only made two things. And you can take two things as bricks, like Lego bricks, cosmic Lego bricks. So first of all, the first smallest Lego brick was hydrogen, and the second smallest was helium. That's it. These two helium bricks were made at that time when the universe was created at the first. The whole universe was like a giant soup of these two simple gases, and you couldn't build an earth out of these two, and you couldn't make a rock or a human or whatever you say. Okay, and also they couldn't make any gold ring, these two simple gases. So we needed heavier stuff. We needed big Lego bricks, but to stick these simple bricks together to make bigger ones, we need enormous amount of heat and pressure so they can fuse together. That is we call fusion. Okay, so before going further, we first of all enter the stars, how stars work. So stars are not just like any bright lights in the sky, they are factories, and they are also like cosmic giant ovens. You can take example like this. And our sun is doing right now this thing. In its center, in its core, it is squishing those simple hydrogen bricks together so hard that they stick together and become helium. Hydrogen become heliums, and this process releases huge amount of energy. That's the sunlight we feel on the earth. For most of a star's life, it's just doing this thing, burning simple fuel, making slightly heavier stuff. So from hydrogen to helium. And now imagine a star much, much bigger than our sun. When it runs out of its simple fuel, it starts crunching down harder and harder and harder. And in the core, in its middle, it's become more hotter and hotter and hotter. Now the oven is hot enough to cook bigger things now. So what it will do, it will squishes helium together to make carbon, the stuff which is from we are made of. Then it squishes carbon to make oxygen, the stuff, the gas which we breathe to live on the earth. And it's keep going layer by layer, making heavier and heavier elements. So we have neon, we have magnesium, silicon. So it's building the periodic table inside its belly, in the stars, in the star core. But then the star hits a wall, which is the iron wall. So the iron wall is the, you can say, a joint problem to make the gold. And now in the next, we will be discussing about the iron problem and the supernova thing. So what is the iron problem and what's the link with supernova? uh, See, iron is a metal which is a star killer. Yep, it it is a star killer. Up until this point, every time the star fused some things together, it created extra energy, and it paid for itself by doing this. But iron is a different. It is a different thing. You can say iron is a stubborn baby, and to fuse iron atoms together, it requires more energy than it gives back to the star. Okay, so once the star of that giant, the center of that giant star turns into a big ball of iron, the engine stops. Yep, seriously, the engine stops and the fire goes out, and here the gravity wins. Yep, that's what happens. So that's why some people call the iron is a star killer, and the entire massive star collapse into on itself in less than a second. The outside crashes into the iron middle, it bounces off, and boom, that phenomena is a supernova, the biggest explosion you can imagine. And for a few weeks, this single dying star can outshine an entire galaxy of billions of stars. And this is where the magic happens. In that split second of the explosion, the shock waves are so intense, and the heat is too much unimaginable that it forces atoms together violently, and it smashes them past that iron wall also. It's like, you can say, taking a handful of clay and hitting it with a sledgehammer. You force things to combine that wouldn't normally want to do. So that what happens when supernova happens. And in that explosions, you get heavier metals, you get copper, zinc, and you get some gold, silver, and lead. These new heavy metals are blasted out into space like a giant sparkly cloud, and these elements then, you can say, stuck on some meteor or asteroids, and when these asteroids hit on our planet, that's how these asteroids or these metals come on our earth. So up next we will discussing about the gold mine in the sky. We will discuss about the neutron stars now. So what are the neutron stars and how they play their part in making the gold. See, for a long time, scientists thought supernova were the main answer behind the gold formation. They thought that's where like the gold came from, and that's from where the gold originally made. But they were wrong. But when like scientists did the math, it didn't quite add up. Supernova makes some gold, but not enough to explain all the gold we see in the universe. There had to be something else, something even more violent which we can't able to imagine or which we don't know even yet. So, and only like in the recently, yeah, so in the last few years you can say, did we confirm that something else is there. Remember that giant star that exploded? Sometimes the very center of it survives the crash. It gets crunched in down into something impossibly dense called a neutron star. So that's how neutron stars are being made. So when giant star exploded, sometimes their center survives the crash. The core, you can say, core of the stars survive, and they crunch down into something denser, which is called a neutron star. You can say, imagine taking our entire sun and squishing it down so it fit inside a city like New York or London in USA and UK. That's how dense a neutron star is. A teaspoon of its material would weigh around billion tons on Earth. So you can see the density of neutron stars. And now imagine two of these monsters are dancing around each other in space. They spiral closer and closer, faster and faster until crash. They call this a kilonova. It is vastly more powerful than a regular supernova. Okay, and this kilonova, this crash is so violent it literally shakes the fabric of space and time. That's how we detected them here on Earth, by listening to gravitational waves. And this crash is the ultimate, you can say, gold factory, and this is where the gold are forged. The conditions in this crash are perfect for something scientists call the reprocess or rapid process. Basically, it's, you can say, it's stuffing atoms full of extra parts faster than they can fall apart. A single crash between two neutron stars can like create an amount of gold equal to, you can say, equal to weight of 10 of our Earths, and then 10 entire planets see made of solid gold created in seconds, and they blasted out in space. It also create huge amount of platinum along with gold and uranium also. This is, we believe, is where the vast majority of the jewelry in the universe comes from from this kilonova. So yeah, that's how the gold is being made. So now the gold is formed in neutron stars, and they are now wandering around in the universe. So how they comes to the earth? So see now, as I have discussed, space is now full of these clouds of debris from exploded stars and crashed neutron stars. This dust is rich in carbon, oxygen, iron, gold, and silver. About 4.5 billion years ago, one of these clouds started to clump together in our neighborhood. The star became our sun. The leftovers swirled around and became the planets, including Earth. So Earth was built from recycled, you can say, star dust. So that's why people often call we are being made of stardust. So this is how we are made of stardust. But when baby Earth first formed, it was melted. It was a giant ball of hot lava. And now think about what happen if you drop a gold ring into a bucket of water. It sinks to the bottom, right? Because it is heavy. So that's the reason. The same thing happened to the young Earth. All the heavy stuff, including iron, gold, platinum, all these things sank right down to the center, to the core. There is unimaginable wealth down in the Earth's core right now, but we will never reach it because it's thousands of miles down beneath solid rock, and we need too much heavy machinery, we need too much funds, and we can't like really reach the core because of the pressure, because of the heat beneath thousands of miles. So that's another reason we can't dig too much deeper. So if all the original gold sank to the core, why do we find gold near the surface today? Why can miners dig it up? Because of a special delivery, you can say, that happened later. After the Earth's crust cooled down and the crust core like hardened to a rock, after cooling, the solar system was still a messy place. There were leftover rocks, asteroids, and meteors flying everywhere in the solar system. So over a million of years, these space rock bombarded the Earth. Many of these metallic asteroids were loaded with gold and other precious metals from those ancient, you can say, star explosions, from supernova, or from like collision of the neutron stars. So when they hit the Earth, they sprinkled their gold onto the surface crust of the Earth. Later, water on Earth and volcanoes moved this gold around, and it concentrated into like in veins that miners find today. So the gold ring on your finger or the gold necklace is now an extraterrestrial. It fell from the sky. So now you know the big picture, and you know the story how first of all the in the beginning these were formed from hydrogen, from fusion. The fusion happens, then neutron stars, and then through the bombardment of asteroids, meteors, they come down to the Earth. So now we can say we truly are made of stardust. And you know also we in our human's body we also have some sort of gold, I guess around zero point 0.2 mgs. There is some numbers around it. So don't you think it's an amazing to think about how the gold we are wearing is from space? And I, to be honest, I feel too much excited about this. The iron in your blood that makes it red, made in the belly of a giant star before it died. The calcium in your bones was also made in an exploding star. The gold in your jewelry likely maybe forged in violent crash of two dead neutron stars billions of years ago. So we are not separate from the universe. We are the universe in ourselves. We are intricately connected to it. The atoms in your body have traveled across the cosmos of billions of years just to assemble themselves into you for a little while. As the astronomer Carl Sagan famously said, we are made of star stuff, stardust stuff. So now we see how truly we are made of star stuff. So next time you look at a piece of gold, don't just see shiny metal or a price tag. Try to see the violent, beautiful history of the universe that created it. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions about this topic, then please feel free to write down in the comments. I will definitely read your comments. And the next section, the next video will be also about the universe and the mysteries, maybe. So I will think about that. So yeah, that's it for today. Um, have a great day. Take care. Bye bye. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye bye.